try to hit the ball on the roof whenever you can?
No, no. Yeah, that's just a byproduct. Like, it's kind of like golf. Every swing, it's pretty much the same swing. So, every kick, hitting it the exact same, no matter where I'm at. So, it's just kind of a byproduct of that.
Let's say there's no wind right now. What range do you feel comfortable? Like, hey, I can make it.
I don't really know. We haven't messed around with that too much. We're comfortable like distance wise, about 60 yards. But I think most important thing is high percentage field goals, 45 yards and in. Those are what's most important for the team. So that's what we practice the most. But sometimes we like to have a little bit of fun and get some distance on it. But that occasion only comes around so often.
How Colin said that you've gotten a lot better with kind of moving on past a missed kick or a bad kick, but we didn't see a missed kick or a bad kick from you last year. So what is that like? When does that happen, and what do you do to kind of?
So last spring, I kind of was a little bit of a head case in the spring. I'd miss a kick and like I'd trip out a little bit, and so. That was something that he kept telling me, like, hey, like, we got to work on this. Like, I know you didn't miss in a game, but this is still an area you got to keep up. So this summer I spent a lot of time with our sports psychology team working on seeing a kick objectively. Like, hey, I made it or I missed it, but I've got a next kick. I got to go. One thing we talk about big time right now is play the next play. And so keeping that on the forefront of my mind has really helped with that.
Did your mental approach change at all coming into this year, knowing that you're going to be the guy versus having Lucas in the room?
Yeah, no, not at all. I think I've approached every day pretty much the same way. That was one thing that has stayed consistent with our special teams room is like, hey, we're going to go out and push quality over quantity. And so everything we were doing last year, everyone was held to the highest standard, making the most out of every rep we get, and it's the same thing we've done this year. The only thing that's changed is now it's kind of weird, college is flying by, but now that I'm one of the older guys in the room, I kind of have to be the one to say like, hey, this is how we have to practice, this is the quality we have. And Seth and Kyle, having those guys around, it's always kind of the talk of like, hey, let's make this the best practice we've had so far.
How has your relationship with Kyle developed over the years?
It's awesome. So we competed a bunch freshman year, kind of back and forth, but you compete off the field and you step off and you're brothers. And man, just through the years, kind of that same thing, pushing each other to get better every day. And then you step off the field and you get to hang out, you get to, be in the players' lounge, spend a bunch of time with those guys. So it's gotten a lot stronger, and I have a lot of faith in him, a lot of trust, and he's just an incredible guy.
When you said you were a head case, you're kind of hard on yourself. Were you always that way growing up?
A little bit, kind of very, very competitive, but not so much like I wouldn't say head case. I'd say more of like I put too much emotion on kicks, but I was always like super emotionally invested, played with a ton of passion growing up, and still do, but now it's all about how do you keep that passion without letting it affect the next thing. So that's what I've had to get a lot better at, and we've seen big improvements there.
When did you first start kicking?
7th grade. I hated football. I did not want to play football, but my dad brought me out to the field, and he's like, hey, we're going to try this. We're going to kick this ball. Ended up kicking, and I loved it. Ever since then, I was like, oh, this is amazing. Soccer. Yeah, I was.
Yeah. So this is like a Texas thing, like you at least have to.
Right, right. It was the culture. It was the, I always loved kicking a ball, and my dad told me a few years later, he's like, look, I always knew like, you had the leg for it, like, you were gonna do this, but, yeah, I didn't like football, started kicking, and fell in love with it.
Did you continue playing soccer through high school?
I did, yeah, up until my junior year. When football kind of became the main thing, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna buy into this, I'm gonna stick with this, and this is what I want to do for my future.
So the fact that you haven't missed a kick yet, does that feel extra pressure in any sense because of that? It doesn't matter?
No, honestly, it's kind of it kind of helps. It's it does give a little bit of confidence knowing like, hey, we've got an operation with Seth McKellar, our O-line, and Kyle Ossendorp that's just locked in. Like, it gives me so much confidence going in that we have every rep that is going to be money. And, like, something slightly could go wrong, but not enough to make a crazy difference. At least that's what it feels like to me right now. So I'm just really excited to have that operation still. Having those guys around me is a blessing. They push me every day.